Okay, so I wanted to do a quick review for The Death of Superman, 2018 animated movie. This is also going to be The Reign of the Supermen, which came out after, but it's all going to be in one review under Death of Superman. So this was, it's called like The Death and the Return of Superman. Pretty bad title, honestly, but anyways, let's stick with the first part, the death of Superman. So I enjoyed it. I think the death of Superman's better than the reign of the Superman. But anyways, there was an original animated movie back, I don't know, in the 2000 early 2000s. That was Death of Superman. I've seen it. I don't really remember it that much to compare it. Um, so I'll just stick with this one for now. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and watch that one again, but it's a pretty simple story. Um, I have read the comic book, but it's been a while. So and there is some dumb things in the comic book, but anyways, basically Doomsday comes to Earth. In this you get a little bit of time before some stuff with him and Lois Lane. Um, and it takes a little bit of time. But basically, Doomsday comes to Earth. The Justice League starts fighting him, and he just destroys them. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Batman. They're like nothing for him. And then Superman shows up, starts fighting him, and he begins to realize, oh wow, this is different. Like, he's not just totally taking on Doomsday. It's pretty brutal fight scene. The animation is pretty good. Here and there, I think some of the faces are kind of off, maybe a little. Um, but WB, or I think it's, what is it, Animation WB. They do a pretty good job. Overall, it's pretty good animation. It's not their best work, I'd say, but you know, fighting it's pretty brutal fight. Uh, it's kind of back and forth, and Superman kind of begins to lose. Lex Luthor shows up in this giant mech suit. He fights him a little bit, but then he just gets destroyed. Um, and Superman saves him. I thought it was funny. Lex Luthor's like pissed off that Superman is gonna take all the glory. You know, pretty standard Lex. Um, Even though he saves him, and I actually like that scene. And Superman like looks at him, and it's just like, whoa, this fight is not going well. But Lex is just totally thinking of himself. He doesn't really care. Um, so yeah, and and then they just keep fighting. Superman takes him into space to finish the job, but Doomsday gets the better of him and knocks him back down to Earth. Basically lands on him with re-entering into space. Um, which um, it's one great thing about Superman. It's like, man, you can have some epic fights, like, um, but yeah, and then I mean, this is spoilers, obviously. I mean, the title is a spoiler. Like, he dies, Superman, or dies. Um, and he kills Doomsday. Pretty brutal scene. Lois Lane like is there. She throws a rock at him, at Doomsday. and then Doomsday's about to kill Lois Lane, so she even helps him a little bit because it's like it's. I mean, he's like barely keeping his own, and Superman, you know, summons forth all the remaining power he has, goes, hits him in the face. I think basically snaps his neck, Doomsday's neck. Then Superman drop, and then at the same time, Doomsday, hits him hard. Superman dies, and there's a funeral, and I thought it was pretty well done. I mean, it's a pretty simple story. Um, Jerry O'Connell, who was in Sliders, is Superman. Lois Lane is Rebecca Romaine. Romagen, or I thought it was Rebecca Romaine Stamos. Yeah, it is her. So she was in the X-Men movies as Mystique. Okay, no long. I guess they got divorced. No longer Stamos. I don't know. Let's see, Ryan. Oh, Ryan Wilson is Lex Luthor. I didn't even notice that was him. Wow. Okay. From The Office and Super. Super's a really good movie by James Gunn. I'm not sure about the ending of the movie, but anyways, it's a really good movie. It's really brutal and kind of heartfelt. But anyways, Rosario Dawson's Wonder Woman, Nathan Fillion is Green Lantern, who I think was just cast as Green Lantern by James Gunn. So he's finally going to be playing a Green Lantern, but in live action. So that's kind of cool. I like Nathan Fillion. Big fan of the show Firefly. Christopher Gorham, but is the Flash. Matt Lantern's Aquaman. I don't remember. Was Aquaman involved in the fight? I don't know. Jason O'Mara's Batman. Anyways, I thought it was good. The death of Superman's better than the reign of the Supermen. That's probably I think that's just how it is. So yeah, overall I enjoyed the first part. I mean, it's pretty brutal, pretty good fight scene. Um, so yeah, and then you go to the reign of the Supermen, and basically Superman's dead, and the world really doesn't know what to do, and crime I think starts to kind of get out of control a little bit. Um, and then there's these different Supermen, and this part came out in 2019. So you have Steel. This guy basically makes a super suit, kind of like Iron Man. I think he's basically kind of like a rip-up fireman. Makes a super suit, and he's Steel. And then there's basically a super boy, but that's kind of like he doesn't like to be called that. And he is Cameron Monaghan. Oh, okay. He was in Gotham. I think he was the Joker in Gotham. I don't know. I watched the first season of Gotham. I thought it was, it's okay. I remember thinking it was a really good looking show. Um, and then there's, oh man, what is he called? forget what he's called. It's another Superman who wears like shades and um trying to find him on the cast. But I forget that what his name is, like the Eviscerator or something. I forget. Uh, the Eradicator. That's it. So and then there's basically Cyborg Superman, and later you find out that he's working with Darkseid because he's Hank Henshaw, who was a an astronaut, and his aircraft blows up in space, which kills his wife. But Doomsday actually saved Hank Henshaw, and he's secretly working for him, and his consciousness is in the cyborg Superman. And so you have these different Superman running around. In the comic, I think there was like the red and blue Superman who were like pure electricity, but it was really stupid, so they just pretty much cut all that. um, so you have Steel, you have the Eradicator, you have Cyborg Superman, Superboy, and Superboy is basically a creation of Lex Luthor. He's like half Lex Luthor, half Superman, and they're running around, and then there's a pretty good scene where Lex Luthor shows off Superboy, but he keeps saying I'm Superman because in his mind he is. But Superboy is like a moniker that the press give him, and he's there, and Lois Lane's there, and then the Eradicator shows up, and he's like, Lex Luthor, you're a criminal, so that he's it's almost like Judge Dredd, like. So he tries to kill him, but Steel then shows up and helps. And it's like, Lex Luthor is a criminal, but you have to go through the justice system. So, and Superboy kind of gets beaten by the Eradicator. And then, later you find out that the Eradicator is actually Kryptonian technology used to protect Superman in his Fortress of Solitude. Because also in the beginning of the Reign of Superman, Superman's ship and Superman's body disappear, and they don't know what happened to it. So then they think he's alive. Maybe he's the Eradicator. Maybe he's Cyborg Superman. Okay, that makes sense. Jerry O'Connell plays Cyborg Superman also. He plays Clark Kent too. So, it's a little weird though because he's actually Hank Henshaw, who's not Clark Kent. But anyways, so overall, and then Cyborg Superman, uh, he he shows off this new technology where he can create basically an army of superpowered beings. He does that. He's like, who will join me? Some people join, and they put these things on their chest, basically take over their consciousness, and basically erase their minds. Because this guy joins who has a girlfriend or a wife, and then later she sees him when he's flying around and helping people. And then she tries to talk to him, and he doesn't even remember that he was with her. So you're like, okay, so this is not very moral or ethical. And then later you find out that Doomsday, or that not Doomsday, I mean Darkseid. Did I say Doomsday before? Darkseid is behind all of this, and he, Hank Henshaw's astronaut in space with his wife, blows up, wife dies. He gets saved by Darkseid, and he blames Superman because he didn't save him because Superman was busy saving other people. So he's basically goes crazy. He's ushering in these super beings, and they're going to basically open a gate for Darkseid to come in and conquer the world. And at first, and at first, he he at first he creates a gate, and the Justice League is fighting these monsters that come out of it. I think they're terror demons, and the gate becomes unstable, falls in the Justice League, and they all disappear. And then they're in this other universe where they can't leave. So, anyways, I'm not going to go through the whole plot, but I thought it was okay. I think the first part, the Death of Superman, is better. But in the end, Superman comes back. He's in the black suit. He's helped actually by Lex Luthor because Lex Luthor doesn't want to live in a world that Darkseid controls. He wants to control the world. So he actually helps to bring back the Justice League, and in the end, they defeat Cyborg Superman, and I thought it was pretty good. It's not incredible, but overall I enjoyed it. There's pretty good voice acting, and it came out a couple of years ago, but I thought it was a good time. I mean, with them both combined, it's over 2.5 hours, so it takes a while, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So check it out if you can. If you're into the DC animated stuff. But yeah, check it out, and that's about it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.